So I finished about my first impressions with PR4 ships. Now let's talk about the gear. The interesting, not as interesting, but less interesting as the first things I was talking about, which were the ships, the gear part. Some of you guys like the gear part. I think the gear part's pretty great, but some of you guys like the ships more. But we're talking about the gear today, so there's that. Anyways, let's jump right into it. PR4 gear. So the TLDR of this season to you guys, or me, best way I can describe it is they're all side grades of what we currently have. They're all literally just side grades, like a niche, like you either pick this one or you pick this one. That's the purpose of this season, to give you side options of the current good gear in the game as of right now. And you have to see what I mean about this when I go ahead and explain. So the first one we have is the triple 305 prototype, like large cruiser variation. So this right here is essentially a, let me pull this up 1 second. It is the counterpart to the triple 310 Azuma's gun. So this version is AP and the other one is HG. Now obviously if you're gonna go into like medium armor content, you would want to use the AP version. And there's a lot of medium armor stuff nowadays. There's like carriers, not large cruisers, heavy cruisers. But you can see those as bosses a lot, especially carriers. There's a lot of carrier bosses in this game, and a decent amount of heavy cruiser bosses in this game. So this gun is pretty good. Obviously, use this gun for E-Girl Azur. It's pretty good on her. You're not gonna get as much from the kit because it's going towards damage reduction for E-Girl's kit. So it's a good gun. I would probably use this gun for most things because AP obviously, but you're not gonna get as like raw damage stats as the HE gun, because both Azuma and E-Girl's kit works very well with the HE guns, so you get more out of it. But you're not gonna get as much from the guns in general because there's not that many light armor bosses compared to medium bosses in this game. So obviously this one is way better, way better. So side grade AP version of Azuma's gun, best way to explain it. Modifiers across the board, better for medium armor. Everything else kind of whatever. Heavy armor is about the same for both of them. So if you got to pick between either or for heavy armor, to go with the HE version. Damage wise, it's okay. 105 per shell. This one's 56 times 6, and this one's 105 times 3. Solid. Good gun, good gun. Now we have this gun right here. We have Marco Polo's gun right here, the triple 406 model 1940. This is the Marco Polo gun. This is the counterpart to Champagne's gun, Chappie's gun. I call this the triple, or I call this the AP MK6 because it's modeled after the 406 MK6. Very similar in stats. So these two guns right here, obviously you can tell by just looking at the ammo type right here that this gun is way better for medium armor compared to the other one, right? A lot better. So even though it's better on medium, it loses on heavy because this is raw AP, whereas this one is semi. So good for light, but you're better off using a real HE gun compared to this one. Very good for medium, but loses to the Champagne's gun for heavy. So again, another side upgrade. If you want to focus on medium armor content, let's say like meta fights or whatever, you would want to use this gun over this gun. Now obviously you're competing with both these two guns. If you have the 457, you want to use that one. Well, we're not going to talk about 457 for this video. We're going to talk about just what these guns can compare with. In this case, it's Chappie's gun, Champagne's gun. So medium armor, you want to use it for this. If you're talking about light armor, go with something else rather than this gun. And for heavy, use the Chappie's gun, Champagne's gun for that. Simple. Damage wise, very similar. 153, 150. Reload time a little bit faster as well. The spread is really bad with the 20, but it should be more or less okay. And then you have everything else. So the real takeaway here also has lower coefficients as well. I would say if you have both of these options, just stick with the Champagne's gun, because even though you're down 10% modifier, you have 5% coefficients and the spread isn't as bad. 18 spread is decent. 20 spread is awful. So you would want to just roll with the Champagne's gun most of the time. And if you really want to use it for like light armor stuff, I would just use a HE gun or whatever. But it's not a terrible gun. You can definitely make one. But I'm not too big of a fan of this gun though. It's kind of it's kind of whatever to me. It's kind of whatever. Champagne's gun is very solid with the coefficients and the ammo type, and the spread is decent as well too. It's a good gun. This one's kind of whatever though. If you want to test with medium, go for it, but I don't think it's worth it. Even though it's like 10%, it's just 10% more ammo type. It loses out on other things as well too. Two more spread, 5% less like coefficient. Meh. It's kind of whatever to me. I would stick with the Champagne's gun though. Now we have the German fighters, the Messerschmitt BF-109G carrier-based prototype. So it doesn't show right here, and I had to ask someone in my Discord what the modifiers were, but it's about, I believe, 100 or something modifiers and 140 on medium armor. Let me dig this up real quick. I'll find it for you guys. But the modifiers for this plane is good for light, and it's good for heavy. Or no, it's good for light, it's good for medium. So if you want to use it for like, because now we have like August von Parsifal, who excels on light and medium armor as a carrier, which is very rare. And then people from the last video are like, Tico works too. I'm not a fan of Lusty Moose. There's nothing you guys can convince me to say that Lusty Moose is good. I would not use her. But Tico is okay. Tico, August von Parsifal, stuff that works on light armor and stuff. If you want to use something with if you want to use carriers that can use a fighter slot, you would want to use these planes right here. So like Tico is good here. August von Parsifal is good here. Medium armor, it's not bad. If you want to use like carriers like Enterprise, Shokaku, who doesn't have like a dual torpedo bomber slot, you want to use these for like medium armor fights and whatnot. Heavy armor, you're best going off with like Sea Hornets or whatever. Those are probably way better. Even though it says AP rockets, the coefficients are for light and medium. So like again, ships that don't have a dual torpedo bomber slot like Enterprise, Shokaku, they're pretty decent and pretty good at damage. You would want to slot these in for medium armor and light armor fights. If you want to use carriers for light armor, which I don't recommend unless they're specialized for fighting light armor, you would want to use these planes. Very unique in that sense. There's not many options, or like there's not many areas where you want to kind of use these, because most of the time people are like Shinano, Arc Royal, stuff like that, and there's 2 torpedo bomber slots. You want to use torpedo bombers over these ones. But let's say you want to use like SX, Enterprise, you're not going to like a high anti-air area, you want to go to like more PvE bombing area for bossing and whatnot, you want to use these. They're good for light, they're good for medium, heavy, kind of whatever, you see Hornets, so forth, right? These planes are not bad. They're good at what they do. It's just very niche. Now, the Rainbow Dive Bomber is here. I don't have to say much about this. If you want to compare this with Helldivers, then we can't. Oh jeez, hold up. All right. Right. So let's compare these with the gold Helldivers. It's not much, but let's just go about this. 21 aviation, more plane health, but that's kind of whatever. Rate of fire about the same, about 0.09 seconds off, which is like basically nothing at all. A lot faster, more speed than that, so it gets the bomb out and going. And everything else, AA guns, these don't really matter that much when it comes to bombing, because you're using these for just PvE, boom, and you're pretty much it. Now bombs, a 2K 2500s versus a 3 800 kg AP bombs. Now, the big takeaway here is that these are 800 kg, and I'm pretty sure this is not a typo. I'm pretty sure it's not a typo. It's 800 kg, so it's like what? my math sucks here, like 1,700 pounds or 1,700 pounds or whatever. That's very good. I'm assuming this is not a typo, because if it is, it's kind of whatever, but it's still okay though. I'm pretty sure that's a typo. 800 kg, it should be pounds, and this is it is not a typo. So this should be like 1,700 times 3 versus these. Very, very good. Not to mention that's armor break, but there's only one scenario where I see this actually being helpful, because if you guys don't know, armor break is something that's meant for battleships. If you see, this is right here. More specifically, any source of damage that scales with firepower is improved with armor breaking. So in a scenario where you want to use these dive bombers and they actually procs, most of the time you're running like Nagato, maybe Shinano, and Hakuryu, who you want to use these on. Only Nagato benefits here. So it's something, it's RNG chance, but it doesn't do that much. So like these right here, like it's okay. Honestly, if I were to say make this 100%. Honestly, 24% is way too low. And if you get 2 of these for Hakuryu, now you have two 24% chances of this proccing, which is better, and it's going to do way more damage, but it's not guaranteed. So not a big fan of the effect right here of this thing. It should be a higher percentage, obviously, but in terms of like the bombs right here, 800 kg is very good, and the 3 of these are very good. So I like it. Good stats, big boom, way better than these for sure, assuming this is translated correctly. Very good. And now we have the counterpart, the prototype, the PR Ryuseis right here. So these are the counterparts to the torpedo bombers in the game, which I'll dig up right here. 1 second, torpedo bombers. Well, actually, no, I can just do this. I'm being dumb right now. My bad, guys. Comparable with the Ryuseis. So in terms of damage, assuming all bombs hit, Ryuseis do more damage. It has 307 times 3 versus the PR Ryuseis, which is 427 times 2. Now, the big takeaway here is it's faster. It's like 0.7 seconds faster. For the carrier gamers out there, that's pretty big. 0.7 seconds is pretty significant. The speed, very fast compared to the Ryuseis. 52 compared to 66 is just zoom in. Very good. And then you have the AA guns that are really whatever when it comes to PvE bombing. And then you have 3 aerial torpedoes versus 2 aerial torpedoes, in which they have. So I'm not going to do the big math here. I can see both of them being good. Like situations where Ryuseis are good is when they're very stationary. Ryuseis are going to be very good. And then the PR Ryuseis, they can be good at like autoing stuff, getting everything like lined up perfectly. They're also very good on like very fast fast enemies for bossing and whatnot, because the plane is very fast. 66, 52. The moment you see the enemy, you airstrike and you get out your planes a lot faster compared to, or you get out your torpedo bombers way faster compared to the Ryuseis. So I can definitely see both being good. It's just that if you know how to play and you're on manual, then I'm going to say Ryuseis are way better, because if you know how to time perfectly, Ryuseis are definitely way better. But if you're going to be an auto gamer and you want to get everything to line up perfectly, you can use the PR Ryuseis or whatever. Me personally, I'm going to make these, but I'm probably going to use Ryuseis because I'm lazy and it has higher potential. But I'm going to auto though. But I can definitely see both being okay. It's just your preference. Like, do you want more speed? You want more reliability on autos or whatever, and like hitting your targets better because it's faster on planes, versus something that's like more damage, assuming everything hits and whatnot, but it's a lot slower and not as reliable because you need something that's like slow. So again, most of the current planes that people use nowadays are like Centaur, Arc Royal that can slow. So Ryuseis aren't that much of a problem. But let's say you're not using any slows or whatever, like Haku, Ryu, Shinano them, then these will be okay. I can see these working just fine. But using torpedo bombs on Haku Ryu though. Anyways, that's the main takeaway for the big gear and whatnot. Let's talk about the other stuff right here. So nothing is too crazy about this one. We have new anti-air. These are the counterparts to sextuple AA. Lower damage but faster reload and more range. Again, these anti-air right now are like not significant. People that are caring about sextuple AAs right now, you're probably done with World 13, so it's not that big of an issue. It's not that much different, I'd say. If you already have sextuple invested into, don't worry about these, but if you want to make them, go for it. I'm still liking sextuples way more though. The reload is like, it's somewhat noticeable, but like it's just 20% less damage. I'm gonna go with sextuple, but it's okay though. And what it does is okay. And then everything else, you have the stack bofers. I don't talk about these. Very, very good A's with the 10 hit. Hazers, no one makes these. I hope not. Anti-air radar, these are everything. High performance washing machines, same in everything. And gold fire control radars, everyone knows about these, right? Very, very good. Helps BB volleys get out faster for the first one, and so forth. So this season, everything is pretty much side grade. We have the AP version of Azuma's gun for E-Girl. We have the Marco Polo guns, which is the counterpart to Champagne's gun for medium armor, whereas this one's for heavy armor. And we have the light and medium armor fighter for the ships or the carriers that can use a fighter slot that wants to go more damage. That's surface damage, not anti-air damage. We have the new best in slot dive bombers. If you can make these, they're very good. And then we have the counterpart of Ryusei's. If you want more speed and whatnot, use these. Stack bofers and whatnot. The sextuple AA counterpart. We have these going on, and so forth. So nothing super game changing in this PR gears list. Nothing like insane like the other seasons. Like PR3 had the Champagne. Like the introduction of Champagne's gun was very needed in the game, because it was roughly around the time before when there were no good AP guns in the game except Georgia's gun, the 457. So there's like it closed the gap by a lot for AP guns at least. So it was very good here. And then we have like the other guns that are kind of like whatever. Like Odin's gun is a good upgrade. Odin's gun is definitely a good upgrade from the Hood's gun. And then we have Cheshire's gun right here, which is kind of whatever. And the DD gun was kind of like whatever too. So yeah, but it has like 2 good upgrades right here. The other one, these right here, this season is just side grades for the most part. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next video.